Hey guys, Matty Miller, Pursuit Real Estate here, and today we are talking about something that probably every landlord's first nightmare. It's what happens when my tenant doesn't pay rent in the state of Florida. Keyword, state of Florida. Every state has their own laws, so let's learn a little bit about what we have to do in the state of Florida, and particularly Jacksonville, to move forward with the eviction process. All right, guys, so if you move forward to the eviction process, and I'll just give you a hypothetical here, is we have a tenant, Susie Joe, decides not to pay her rent, and it is the 5th of the month, which is currently when I'm recording this video, so this makes perfect sense. For us here at Pursuit Real Estate, they are due by the 1st. They get a late fee on the 5th, or if they don't pay it by the 5th, so actually the 6th. So that goes onto their account. They then have a late fee. Our company policy is once we get to the 10th, we are then posting a 3-day notice. So a 3-day notice, what does that mean? So a 3-day notice is basically a posting on their door delivered to them by hand that says, hey, you have 3 days to pay your rent before we can then move forward with the eviction process. So a lot of question, what does the eviction process mean? Maybe what is an eviction? An eviction, essentially, without getting too much into the woods, is basically having the sheriff come out and remove them from the property for non-payment of rent, flat out. So we'll actually have a sheriff show up if we do a writ of possession, which a writ of possession happens at the end of the eviction. A lot of times, once people have been notified that they are getting evicted, a lot of times they will go ahead and voluntarily move out and just abandon the property. So when we do the writ of possession, it's typically vacant. We end up having to go clean up and do a lot of other things to get the house back on the market. Second part of that, what does an eviction cost? Eviction cost here in Jacksonville, we use a couple local attorneys who do evictions. They're around anywhere from probably $700 to $1,000 is how much that costs. Kind of depends on how many occupants there are, depends on if they have any dependents, things like that. So there's some other factors that kind of determine in there. Depends on if they're on a month-to-month lease. If they're holdover, leasing terms also matter. And I don't want to get too far down into that because I don't know the entire pricing structure, but around $700 to $1,000. How long does it take? An eviction here in Jacksonville, Florida, typically will take around 30 to 35 days as our general turn time. So once we file that, so essentially, if we're on the same timeline and today's March 5th and Susie forgot to pay her rent and we get to the 13th or the 13th at midnight, we could then file the eviction on the 14th legally. 30 days from that is basically mid-April. So you would anticipate getting your house back around mid-April. We cannot accept any money during that time. It's always a big question. Hey, if we file the eviction and somebody comes with money into the office, can we take that money? The answer is no, or else you have to start the eviction process all over again. So you can hit a stop eviction if you want to. It's probably still going to show up on their record. But if they pay that money, I probably wouldn't advise stopping the eviction. So anyway, that's kind of in a nutshell, and I don't want to keep it too long. If you have questions about evictions, or even if, let's say, you're a do-it-yourself landlord and you want a recommendation to a local attorney who could help you, let's say you need help just in general, or hey, I'm renting my house myself and I have to evict this tenant, and I'm thinking about doing property management on the next time because honestly, this dude called me off a sign and rented this property. It was probably a mistake. I probably needed to hire somebody. We will actually go ahead and do the eviction for you and set everything up free of charge, no management fees until we place the new tenant if you need help. So there's a guarantee that we will help you get out of that bad situation and get you into a better situation. So if you have any questions about evictions, what that process may look like, any deeper questions, there's a lot of things that can happen in an eviction and outside of it. Let me know. Matty Miller with Pursuit Real Estate, and hope you guys have a great day.